Hey there, welcome. Look, if managing your money as a young adult feels like you're trying to solve a puzzle but half the pieces are missing, you've definitely come to the right place. By the end of this, I promise, you're going to have the complete picture for building a really strong financial foundation. So let's just dive right in.
Okay, let's be real. Have you ever felt totally overwhelmed by bills, savings, or just that general stress of trying to make ends meet? If you're not in your head right now, listen. You are so not alone. It's a feeling pretty much everyone has, and it's exactly why we're going to break it all down today.
You know, the source material for this really hits the nail on the head. This isn't some new problem, and it's definitely not a personal failure on your part. It's a challenge that young adults have been facing for generations. But here's the good news, right? There's a proven path to getting a handle on it, and it all starts with just a few key steps.
All right, so step one. This is all about getting clarity. I mean, you can't control what you don't understand, right? So we're going to get a crystal clear picture of your exact financial situation. No more guessing. So, first things first. You need one solid number, your total monthly income. And I mean everything. Add up your paycheck, that side hustle you've got, every single dollar that's coming in. This isn't just a number on a page, it's your starting line. It's the foundation for every single money decision you make from here on out. Okay, so we know what's coming in. Now, where is it all going? Well, your expenses basically fall into two big buckets. You've got your fixed expenses, things like rent, car payments, the stuff that's pretty much the same every month. But then you've got your variable expenses. This is your food, entertainment, clothes, and this, right here, is where your power lies. This is the area you can actually manage and find some wiggle room in your budget.
And here's a pro tip for you. And it's so simple, but honestly, it's a game changer. Keep your receipts. Seriously, it's the most direct way to see exactly where your money is going, especially with that variable spending. Just file them away each month. It creates this super clear record of your habits, makes you more mindful, and hey, as a nice little bonus, it can be a total lifesaver when tax season rolls around.
All right, so once you've got your numbers down, it's time for step two, building that all-important safety net. This is your financial cushion. It's what's going to create security, help you plan for those big long-term goals, and protect you from, life's little surprises. So the first tool we're going to talk about for that safety net is a good old savings account. But you've got to think of this as a protected space, right? It's not for your morning coffee or that thing you saw on sale. Nope. This is for building towards the big stuff. Education, retirement, maybe a down payment on a house one day. It's your future fund.
So the big question is, how much should you actually be saving? A really great target to aim for is 10% of your income. But listen, if that feels totally impossible right now, do not worry. Starting with 5%, or honestly even less, is a huge win. The most important thing is just building the habit. It's about paying yourself first every single time.
Okay, so you're saving for the future. That's awesome. But what happens when the future shows up, unexpectedly? Your car suddenly breaks down or you get a surprise medical bill? That long-term savings account isn't for that. That's where a different kind of safety net comes into play.
Yep, we're talking about your emergency fund. And starting one is way simpler than you probably think. First, open a totally separate account. This is key so you're not tempted to dip into it for non-emergencies. Second, automate a small regular deposit. Seriously, even $5 or $10 a week adds up. And third, and this is the hard part, you have to guard it, protect it. This is your break glass in case of emergency money and nothing less.
All right, you're doing great. On to our third and final step, mastering your spending. This is where we stop just playing defense and start playing offense with our money. It's all about making conscious decisions that actually line up with your goals.
So this one might sound basic, but it is absolutely crucial. You have to know the difference between what you need and what you want. Your needs, shelter, food, transportation, they take top priority in your budget, no question. But when it comes to wants, you gotta be careful to avoid the comparison trap. What your friends have, what you see on social media, that might be funded by a mountain of debt you can't see. Just focus on your own journey, your own path.
Okay, let's talk about something that can be a huge hurdle for a lot of young adults, credit cards. And I have a very direct question for you. Do you know the exact interest rate on your credit card, like right now off the top of your head? If the answer is no, there's a really good chance you're paying way, way more for your purchases than you realize.
So how do you handle these things wisely? Well, rule number one always is to pay off the full balance every month if you can. That minimum payment? It's mostly interest, and it's designed to keep you in debt for years. If you're already carrying debt with a high interest rate, look into consolidating it to a card with a lower rate. And look, if a card is just a constant temptation for you, don't be afraid to do what you have to do. Take out the scissors and destroy it. Seriously.
And this whole mindset of conscious spending, it applies to literally everything. When you go shopping, plan ahead. Make a list, have a budget. It helps you avoid those impulse buys. And when you do decide to spend money, try to think long-term. Investing in something high quality that's going to last is often a way smarter financially than buying something cheap that you'll have to replace in a year.
And one last thing on this topic, a word of caution about borrowing money. The source material for this explainer points out a really critical truth. It is so much easier to borrow money than it is to pay it back. And this is especially true when you're borrowing from family or friends, where an unpaid debt can seriously damage a relationship. It's just a trap you're better off avoiding if you can.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. Knowing your numbers, building that safety net, and mastering your spending, these aren't just a bunch of boring rules. They are the actual building blocks for a life with way less stress and a lot more freedom.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The ultimate payoff. Being careful with your money right now isn't about punishing yourself or restricting everything. It's about consciously and actively building the future you actually want for yourself and for the people you care about.
I really want you to let this next thought sink in. Good money management is not about saying no to everything you enjoy. Not at all. It's about giving your future self the power to say yes to what truly matters. It's about unlocking freedom, freedom from debt, freedom from stress, and the freedom to make your own choices.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Not what will you do tomorrow or next week? What is one small, actionable change you're going to make today to start building that foundation? Because your successful financial future, it really does start right now.